Welcome to episode 41 of the Fire Safety Matters podcast, where we bring you the latest news, views, and opinion from across the UK's dedicated fire industry. My name's Brian Sims, and I'm the editor of Fire Safety Matters magazine. We're delighted that this podcast is sponsored by the Fire Safety event, which runs at the NEC in Birmingham from the 8th to the 10th of April 2025. Fire Safety Matters is once again serving as the lead media partner for the exhibition. To register for the show, visit www.firesafetyevent.com. As always, I'm joined on the Fire Safety Matters podcast by my colleague Mark Sennett, the CEO at Western Business Media and also the founder of Fire Safety Matters magazine. Happy New Year, Mark. Did you have a good Christmas?
And Happy New Year to you as well, Brian. I guess we can still say that. We're in January, when we're recording this, so this should be out just before the end of January. So yeah, Happy New Year to you too. Because of course I haven't actually seen you face to face yet this year because it's been busy few weeks. I was over in Intersec in Dubai, which for those of you listening who don't know, that's a massive fire and security exhibition called Intersec. Caught up with lots of key associations out there, a lot of participants on the podcast, a lot of exhibitors. Obviously, our Fire Safety Matters Live conferences as well. So that was good. But yeah, Christmas was lovely. Thank you. Spent a lot of time with the kids. Since Christmas, Oxford United are unbeaten, which is unbelievable. 5 wins and 3 draws, so best Christmas present ever. Not going to lie. What about you? Did you have a nice break?
You will not believe this, Mark, and don't fall off your chair, but I had 2 weeks off without touching the laptop, would you believe, and watched some very poor football at London Stadium.
I'm not sure I entirely believe that other than the bad football. I'm not sure you're capable of switching off over Christmas, but, I will take that in the spirit you say that it's intended. But I'm glad you got a rest because it's a busy period for us now as we come into key entry period for the Fire and Security Matters Awards, which we'll talk about later. You're working on the next edition of Fire Safety Matters, and you're quickly working on the next issue of Security Matters. Then, of course, it's the Fire Safety event, which takes place in April. And yeah, there's a lot going on at the moment, Brian. So, as always, we start with the news, and you can always see the news, prosecutions, latest products and services, everything you want on our website, which is fsmatters.com, or just into a search engine, Fire Safety Matters. You don't have to wait for this podcast to come out. You can sign up to get our newsletter weekly, along with 50,000 other professionals. You can see all of our archived digital editions of the magazine. You can see all of our upcoming and past webinars on there as well, and get CPD certificate for each. So lots of reasons, including signing up to get free copies in print or digital version of Fire Safety Matters as well. But we start off with the news, and I'm going to actually start this time. I believe it's my turn to start. And I've got a news story, Brian, from the soon-to-be outgoing Fire Commissioner in London. So the title of the article, you can read on the website, is Tall Buildings in London Still Exhibiting Major Safety Risks, Warns the Fire Commissioner. So you can look at in the news section or in the search box of our website. So, speaking at the London Assembly Fire Committee, which was held in chambers at City Hall, the London Fire Commissioner Andy Rowe, who, by the way, has announced, as I just said, his intention to retire after 5 years in the role, has stated that tall buildings exhibiting significant safety risks are still being constructed in London. So this took place on the 14th of January, Brian, and this meeting... And we'll have a little bit of what it covered here, and it was there to assess whether or not new building safety regime is working effectively, how the regime is directly impacting the London Fire Brigade, and also whether enough is being done currently to accelerate cladding remediation projects in London. So Andy Rowe commented at this meeting, and you can actually watch a video of it in the article. It's well worth a watch. He said, the complexity and the scale of risk present in London means there's a constant tension between the progress of the new regime and the need for society that more residential volume is realised. Capacity and resourcing are probably the biggest challenges in terms of moving matters on, he said in his opening statement. So he went on to say he turned his attention onto cladding remediation in London. Applications have been made on 510 buildings, Brian. Work has been created, or I should say completed, on 205 premises, with remediation work yet to begin on 219 other locations. And that's due to the fact that approvals are still to be granted. So, a few more statistics on here. He quoted a lot more interesting statistics as part of something said on the 13th of December. The London Fire Brigade had calculated 1,329 buildings are operating a simultaneous evacuation policy. Only 179 of those premises are clad with ACM, and that's aluminium composite material, if you're not familiar with that term. A total of 696 structures don't have ACM cladding, and 315 have compartmentation issues, which require them to maintain simultaneous evacuations. 88 are lacking cavity barriers, and 7 have structural issues. So that was figures he stated based on a report that came out from the London Fire Brigade on the 13th of December. So some interesting statistics there. Obviously, Andy will be retiring, but the key message here is there's still a number of safety concerns he's concerned about in tall buildings that are being erected in London and remediation work. And just those stats there that we talk about, there's still a lot of work to be done. 219 locations where nothing has been done yet. And yeah, this is a big concern, Brian. I'm sure you've got more to add to it.
I do indeed, Mark. The Fire Commissioner informed the committee members that one of the initial inspections conducted jointly with the Building Safety Regulator under Gateway 3 of the new regime, brought in by the Building Safety Act 2022, of course, had duly highlighted some major issues. The 49.85 metres tall structure stretching over 17 floors, itself designed and constructed before the London Plan came into force, houses a single staircase. There are no evacuation lifts at the premises. The sprinkler system wasn't providing any water from the 11th floor upwards. And in addition to this, there are multiple different types of keys to access the firefighting lift. There's only meant to be one, necessitating multiple levels of access. It wasn't possible to ascertain what material has been used to clad the structure, as this detail hadn't been supplied by the applicant to the Building Safety Regulator. Further, in the basement, Mark, it was found to be the case that smoke control wasn't provided for each compartment, which is something that the guidance actively recommends. But worryingly, this building was about to enter the occupation phase, so structures in the capital then are clearly still exhibiting major safety risks, as the Commissioner said. That's just one building in London as well, of course, Mark.
Yep, that's pretty stark statistics that we shared today. Now, we've got lots more to cover in the news, but actually we are very lucky that this episode of the podcast, we've actually got 3 guests, 3 different guests for this episode. And Brian, who's the first guest you got for us on this episode?
Our first guest on episode 41 of the Fire Safety Matters podcast is Mark Whiteley, Sales Director for Asecos in the UK and Ireland. The company is a recognised expert when it comes to storage solutions for hazardous materials. Mark joined the business back in 2013, having previously spent 3 years at Thermo Scientific. Managing a matrix of 17 sales managers, he oversaw sales of PPE, safety equipment and consumable products for target accounts including those in the academic, research, pharma, scientific and industrial sectors. During the course of our interview, Mark reviews the dangers posed by lithium-ion batteries and how to mitigate them, before then focusing on the Asecos Academy. Welcome to the podcast, Mark. To set the scene, can you outline what Asecos is all about as a business for us, and also list and describe the company's main product areas?
Yeah, sure. Afternoon, Brian. Asecos see itself really as an expert and in the field of hazardous material storage and handling. Essentially, because the improper storage of hazardous materials can lead to serious environmental and material damage in the case of property, and in extreme cases, it can have an impact on people's lives. So, as a business, we began in '94. And we're manufacturers of fire-resistant cabinets for various hazardous substances. So they can include flammable liquids, compressed gases, corrosives, bases, and also lithium batteries. And, so it's important for people to understand the amount of hazards in their premises. But what's interesting is somebody will work with something on a daily basis without fully understanding the hazards posed by whatever they appear to be working with. But I think, Brian, in addition to that, we also produce outdoor hazardous material handling, non-smoker protection services, but the non-smoker protection, obviously not in the United Kingdom.
Lithium-ion batteries are now ubiquitous, of course, Mark. In what key areas are they being used at present, and what sectors?
We have been proactive in the UK market now for nearly 4 years. With the lithium battery products, and they seem to cross an awful lot of industrial sectors. So from academia to pharma, biotech, local authority, transport infrastructure, even down to football clubs, security services. There isn't really anybody in this day and age whose life isn't impacted by having access to lithium battery power, be it in a smartphone or any other kind of product, transportation device, power tools. So all of our lives are touched by lithium batteries.
In addition to their many advantages, there are also potential dangers with the use of lithium-ion batteries. What are those dangers?
Well, as a business, we've been educating many industries in the UK for a number of years now. And in theory, the main hazards of lithium batteries, the dangers, are caused by mechanical stress, defects in the actual battery, overheating, which can then trigger self-heating either directly or after a delay. A lot of people might have heard the expression thermal runaway. A lithium battery, you could liken it to a ninja. It kind of has its own source of ignition. It has its own source of fuel in an oxygenated environment. And it's when that cell degrades, it ignites and burns down. So fires involving lithium batteries have always been very difficult to control, and the fire can spread quickly, not only to the battery, but other areas near to or underneath where the batteries are stored. And quite often, fire and rescue services put a lot of effort into preventing the spread of fire. But lithium batteries represent other problems as well in terms of the byproducts, or what we call the off gas. That's where a lithium battery can produce a lot of highly toxic flammable gases that can have an impact on our health if we suffer from respiratory issues, or indeed highly corrosive gases, which we try to avoid. And but understanding those dangers is of course paramount.
Returning to the solutions for these issues, Mark, could you outline the types of protective device offered by asecos?
First and foremost, Brian, we have to understand how the lithium batteries are being used. So somebody, let's say, for example, a business would say, we essentially want to just store lithium batteries, and that comes with its own range of hazards. And then we also want to store and charge lithium batteries. And asecos product offering has been kind of founded on the demands of a user of lithium battery power products. So we have essentially the core range, which just gives comprehensive fire protection with the proven asecos evacuation and alarm forwarding concept. We also have the Pro range, which gives enhanced protection, fire suppression, and 3-stage alarm system. And that's the ability of understanding if there is a fire, you're aware of it and can do something about it. And lastly, we have the pinnacle of our product offering in 25, and that's enhanced fire protection. And that provides active smoke management. As I mentioned before, lithium battery vapor clouds, or smoke, as some people refer to it, it can be highly toxic, highly flammable. This cabinet, the Ultra, is designed to provide that active smoke management and extended monitoring, providing safety to the highest level in sensitive areas. So essentially, no matter which level you choose, the basic security features, such as fire protection from the inside to the outside and the outside to the inside, smoke detection and alarm forwarding, are offered by all cabinets in the Core, Pro and Ultra model lines.
And finally, Mark, the asecos Academy offers an excellent learning platform. What's on offer here exactly, and how important is the Academy in terms of the future of the company itself?
I mean, the Academy for asecos is an essential concept for many customers to understand the various different aspects of hazardous material storage, ranging from something as basic as what is a chemical, how will a breakdown in the management of that chemical affect me or affect my premises, how do I ventilate a hazardous material storage cabinet correctly, what risks am I being exposed to. So asecos quite a few years ago broke down the range of different hazards into bite-sized topics, and from there we formulated a number of lectures which are free for somebody to attend or listen to a recording. And we offer guidance in many, many different areas. So, for example, recently we've done sessions on lithium battery safety. We've done sessions on how to correctly store chemicals within your premises, gas safety, and so many of these things you can jump in and listen to it and kind of flex your mental capacity on understanding the hazards that are present in your premises. We also now, through the Zoom concept, are providing these webinars every month. The webinars are being recorded, and anybody really can pay attention as much or as little as they like. This kind of also complements something that we've launched in Germany called Asecos World. Now, I know in the UK, we don't generally get out to Germany every week, but Asecos World has been developed to really give anybody who attends a thorough understanding of the concepts of hazards in the workplace, ranging from the different types of hazardous materials, what risks are posed, how to eliminate the hazards or manage those hazards. And we believe that education is a huge part of the Asecos offering. So we don't just make products, we try to get into providing a real good insight into what solutions are globally available. And Asecos have always been, we believe, at the forefront of technology and standards, and this is something we'll be continuing in the future. So all of our webinars that we run in the UK are published on our UK LinkedIn profile, where anybody can register for free or simply sign up for our newsletter. And that way you'll always be up to date with our seminars for the coming year.
Returning to the news now, and the Institution of Fire Engineers has launched its new strategy document entitled Leading Fire Safety, which aims to inspire excellence through knowledge, professional standards, and also collaboration. Managed for fire professionals by fire professionals, of course, the IFE aims to promote, encourage, and improve the science, practice, and professionalism of fire engineering, always acting as a beacon of established expertise and guiding the way towards a fire-safe future. The new strategy outlines the institution's long-term aim of putting its members at the heart of its processes. As well as setting out the IFE's priorities, the strategy empowers members to influence how fire safety is understood and managed, thereby ensuring they play a key role in driving necessary change. The strategy itself was formulated in the wake of a membership survey and a series of engagement sessions held with members and external representatives alike. Split over 2 phases, the strategy consultation process gathered feedback from across the globe. Phase 1 witnessed the engagement sessions receiving upwards of 500 items of feedback and data from members and external organisations representing no less than 25 different worldwide branches. In the analysis process of the Phase 2 sessions, Mark, nearly 600 items of additional feedback and data were received from IFE members, further increasing the international representation to 32 different worldwide branches. Following on from the consultation period, 4 key themes were written to encompass the findings and form the basis of the IFE strategy going forward. These are skills, development and innovation, trust and reputation, organisational sustainability and engagement, and last but not least, global influence and advocacy. What do you have to add on this one, Mark?
Yeah, I think the key part is what you've just said there. That's what the focus of this strategy is going to be. It's something that many major associations do. I've seen IOSH do it in the past as well. And it's not even just associations do it. Organisations like NEBOSH in the health and safety side do it as well, and the health and safety executive. But at the core of IFE is always going to be a competency agenda, as it should be. But they're not just a domestic UK operation. And that last part about, talking about international influence, they'll be looking to grow their reach and influence overseas as well. And, it's a growing organisation, Brian. So there's a good statement come out from the IFE CEO, Steve Hain. He said, "We're delighted to begin 2025 with the launch of our new strategy. This was a huge project for us in 2024, and the end result of which will address the challenges our sector faces, from climate change impacts and built environment developments through to diversity and inclusion challenges, and on again to increased fire safety responsibilities. He went on to say, as the global professional body for fire safety, we will continue to support our members in overcoming these challenges through communication, qualifications, learning opportunities and resources, and also professional standards. We very much hope the strategy empowers them to navigate and influence our sector. In conclusion, Steve went on to say, with the strategy in place, we now turn our attention towards its required outputs. Regular updates about the projects undertaken will be issued to the membership through IFE's established communications channels. So across the year, Brian, the IFE has led the way in enabling fire professionals to become rigorously assessed through well-established dynamic system of internationally recognised membership grades and also fire-related qualifications. Indeed, the IFE actually delivers more than 6,000 examinations each year. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. So it's a growing and important organisation in the fire sector. You can see it wants to increase its global reach, push the competency agenda. But the key things in there, Brian, are the challenges that the sector's facing, and they're being led by what their members' challenges are as well. So it's great to see that they've listened to their members and they are creating a strategy on the back of it. But I've got another news story for us now, Brian. So moving on to what will be, probably my final news story of this edition of the podcast. I know you've got a couple more, and that is one on the fire and rescue service. Obviously, we cover fire and rescue service stuff as well. But normally when there's a big story, and this particular one, it's titled on our website, Fire and Rescue Services attend 300,000 plus deliberate fires in 2019. So these are the latest statistics that have come out. Obviously, I appreciate it's a while back in terms of when these actually happened, but these are the latest figures that we've had from the Fire and Rescue Service. You can see it all on our website in the news section. So while Fire and Rescue Service across the UK have attended fewer incidents in the last 12 months, deliberate fires continue to waste valuable resources and put lives in danger. In fact, the Fire and Rescue Service has attended over 900,000 incidents since 2019. So that's why we're going this far back, Brian. It's not just 2019, it's since 2019. Figures obtained by public interest lawyers through the Freedom of Information request found that fire and rescue services across the country have attended 923,933 primary and secondary fires over the past 5 years, with around 35% of them being deliberate fires. That's the news story here, Brian. Massive amounts of primary and secondary fires over a 5 year time, but 35% of what is nearly 1 million call-outs were arson, in fact, they deliberately set fires. So primary fires are potentially more serious, obviously, and they can cause harm to people or damage to property. Secondary fires are generally small outdoor fires, not involving people or property, and these can include refuse fires, grassland fires, fires occurring in derelict buildings or vehicles. So still, dangerous to the fire brigade to attend, still have the potential of being very dangerous fires, but, primary fires are obviously the biggest concern. So in 2019 to 2020, the Fire and Rescue Service attended 185,483 primary and secondary fires, which was the third highest number of fires over the previous 5 years. 12 months later, that number did decrease to 181,069 people, and over the past year, Fire and Rescue Services have experienced a drop in primary and secondary fires, which is great, with the total now standing at 165,153. So that's 20,000 down on 2019's number. So they put this attribute this success down to effective fire prevention campaigns, increased community awareness, favourable weather conditions, which contributed to a positive decrease. I think that's particularly topical when you see the awful fires that have been happening in America, where you can see weather conditions have spread them, and of course, at the moment, they're trying to examine the cause of those fires, and they could well be deliberately set fires. So, back in the UK, there's been a notable decrease in secondary fires and outdoor primary fires, and this marks the smallest number of fires attended since records began. So there is good news here, Brian, in terms of these reductions, but I think the headline figures I want to share here is nearly 1 million call-outs for primary and secondary fires over 5 years, and 35% are being deliberate fires. So this is relevant to those of you listening that are, not in the fire and rescue service, because ensuring that you have either suppression systems that can help put these out, or suitable fire safety logbooks in the case of a fire, or suitable detection, or suitable passive fire protection files to stop spread, evacuation policies that are suitable. These are obviously legal requirements, but when you look at these statistics of it's not just fires that can happen by accident. Fires can happen in your premises, which are obviously caused deliberately. And by listening to this podcast and this is the magazine and working with the clients that we have that provide these solutions, they'll give you the best possible protection, because the last resort you want to see is the fire and rescue service having to come out, obviously. And the fire and rescue service has worked very hard with manufacturers and with building occupants to eliminate unwanted false alarms. But, in situations like arson or deliberate fires being set, the issue here, Brian, is you want the earliest and accurate detection as possible. And if there is, the possibility for suppression to get rid of these fires before the fire issues get there, even better. But it's early and accurate detection, which is, what we fully support. So some pretty stark statistics there. What else have you got to add to this, Brian?
Well, despite the positive decrease in the number of fires across the UK, which you mentioned, Mark, a worrying percentage of these incidents are deliberate fires, as you said, which can lead to injuries and fatalities. Deliberately set fires are dangerous and, of course, a criminal offence. They waste time and money and also keep fire crews from attending genuine emergencies. Deliberately set fires commonly include those in bins, skips, fly-tipped waste and derelict buildings, and also on dry grass and heathland. Victims of deliberate fires may lose all of their property, be made homeless, or otherwise be seriously injured. Public interest lawyers also obtained figures on the number of injuries caused by deliberate fires across the UK. Since 2019, fire and rescue services have recorded 3,659 deliberate fire injuries, with the highest annual total, that's 790, in 2019-2020. While the impact of lockdowns in 2021 will have depressed the number of deliberate cases, the figures show that not only is arson the leading single cause of these fires, but they also highlight the extent to which the increasing threat of arson must be taken very seriously indeed. Perhaps, Mark, to use a political terminology, this is just another instance of where the punishment needs to meet the crime when it comes to the courts.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more on that, Brian. So, it is time for our second guest. Who have you got for us now, Brian?
Our second guest is Tony Smith, Managing Director at Vox Ignis, the Northeast-based business specialising in the design and production of voice alarm, emergency voice communication, and also assistance-related call systems. Tony is a serial entrepreneur who, over the course of 3 decades, has become an expert in the subject of audio technology and its related legislation, duly contributing to the evolution of key standards. Indeed, Tony is the current chair of the British Standards Institution's FSH 12.5 Technical Committee, responsible for developing codes of practice for the design, installation, servicing and maintenance of voice alarm evacuation systems and emergency communication systems in buildings. Also in a pro bono capacity, Tony has served as president of the Institute of Sound and Communications Engineers. On episode 41 of the podcast, Tony examines the crucial work being conducted in the standards arena and also outlines the future of the voice alarms market. Thank you very much for joining us on the podcast, Tony. Vox Ignis is a global specialist in public address and voice alarm, emergency voice communication, lockdown and multi-mode assistance and alarm systems, of course. The business is recognised as one of the founding fathers of the voice alarms market, in fact. Winding the clock back, Tony, how did that situation arise?
Well, my first company, AVX, were making induction loop amplifiers from 87 to 91, 92. BS 7443 was published in June of 1991, and that was developed by members of ISCE, Institute of Sound and Communications Engineers, now the Institute of Sound, Communication and Video Engineers, and it was written to provide guidance on sound systems for emergency purposes. At the same time, Klotz had fitted a fibre optic matrix in Wembley, the sports stadium, for the emergency sound system. And what that was 8 in to 128 out, routed on fibre optics. And we thought, that's wrong. You broadcast the 8 channels you want and pick the one you want locally. So from that, the XLAN was born as the first digital voice alarm system. and we exhibited that at Sound 92 at the Heathrow Penta Hotel. This then became Signet and was fitted in prestigious projects, including the airports of Hong Kong, Arlanda and Nanjing. In 2000, I left Signet and formed Current Thinking in 2001, continuing the innovation, starting with induction loop amplifiers, my background, then developing voice alarm, and then in 2003, when 5839 Part 9 was published, we developed the Vocal EVCS as an integrated fire telephone and disabled refuge system. That company was sold to Coopers in 2011, which was then acquired by Eaton. I left that in 2014 and formed Vox Ignis, and the rest is history.
FSH 12 is responsible for developing and maintaining British standards codes of practice for the design, installation, servicing and also maintenance of voice alarm evacuation systems and also emergency communication solutions for buildings. You serve as the chair of the FSH 12-5 Technical Committee run by the British Standards Institution. Precisely how do you ensure that regulation in this area is fit for purpose both now and also into the future?
Standards by nature are a compromise. The last revision of Part 8, the subcommittee was expanded and included acousticians, fire brigade members, access groups and members of the Ministry of Housing, giving the best input to the standard, and my intention is to continue this inclusiveness for future revisions, the next one being the revision of Part 9, which is going to start in May of this year.
For some time now, the voice alarms domain has been viewed as something of a dark art, Tony. Why is that exactly? And why do you want to change this perception that appears to exist in some quarters?
Mostly protectionism from the professional audio market. They speak in watts, not sound pressure levels, and it's really to throw a cover over the whole marketplace and carve it out as specialists for them. Our approach is to simplify this technology and terminology and provide panels like fire alarm panels and teach fire companies how to deal with common scenarios and to know the space when the space is not simple and when they need to engage help.
In your view, what does the future of the voice alarms market look like at this present moment in time?
Because of the expense of certification, the evolution of the market is slow, and the hiatus in the harmonising of standards in CEN isn't helping that. The new draft of EN 5416 was nearing completion, but now work is not being done on it and will not be done for the foreseeable future. It's a highly consolidated market, and I can see further consolidation coming in the market as innovation is scarce and there is a shortage of talent in the design of the products. This will further reduce choice. We're nimble enough and small enough to innovate and provide value to our customers.
And finally, Tony, can you tell us what's in the pipeline for Vox Ignis as a company?
For us, we'll be launching our new range of loudspeakers at fire safety event and including VADs in the speakers because they're a requirement of Part 8 and nobody does them in the UK. We're also entering the multi-purpose assist call market, expanding it to include emergency doors and water leak detection. Because we always listen to our customers, we can move rapidly on good ideas, so we're actively seeking new products and new markets.
Now on to our final news story, and it's a major one. The Fire Industry Association's CEO Ian Moore was awarded an OBE in His Majesty the King's 2025 New Year Honours List for outstanding services to the fire industry and public safety. Ian's significant contributions to military service and the community were no doubt an influence in the decision taken by the Cabinet Office's main Honours Committee. Since taking on the role of CEO at the FIA, Moore has driven key improvements within the fire safety industry. Under his leadership, indeed, the organisation has grown to become Europe's largest fire protection trade association, currently listing upwards of 1,200 members. Importantly, Mark, all of those members hold third-party certification, which is the minimum requirement the FIA seeks in order to raise the bar on professionalism, and rightly so. Ian Moore is himself a staunch supporter and promoter of third-party certification, being mandated for companies operating in what is a life safety industry after all. Further, Ian has continually championed the progression of fire safety qualifications, which have helped thousands of practicing professionals to improve their skills, ultimately making buildings and communities much safer. To his great credit, Ian has always gone above and beyond to tackle the industry's biggest challenges. Following on from the Grenfell Tower tragedy in 2017, He led the way on efforts to improve competency standards right across the sector and launched the Building Safety Information Portal that's purpose designed to support homeowners affected by cladding remediation issues. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Ian successfully lobbied for fire safety professionals to be classified as key workers. This was a really important event, thereby ensuring that critical safety systems continue to be installed and maintained during the period. I know you have something to say on this major news here, Mark.
I was with Ian at Intersec in Dubai just a couple of weeks ago. First time I saw him, I said, "Am I meant to bow to him now, or am I meant to call him sir?" He would have loved it if I had bowed, to be fair. But no, Ian's a good friend, and this is thoroughly deserved. Jokes aside, I know this is something that means so much to him. He's really been touched by this recognition, and he's really excited to go with his family. And in typical Ian style, he says this is more for the FIA and for his family than it is for him. And very much looking forward to seeing the pictures from when that happens. This is something very, very well deserved. It's his time in the sector isn't just the FIA, that's just a small portion of it. He's been at manufacturers across the fire and security sector. He dedicated his life to military service before that. He's because of that, a Portsmouth local, and unfortunately a Portsmouth fan, and I am going to the Oxford-Portsmouth game with him in a couple of weeks. It seems like there's a mafia in the fire sector that supports Portsmouth, Brian, but from Eurotech's Michelle Agius to Paul Pope at Ajax to Ryan at the FIA, there is some kind of mafia that supports Portsmouth Football Club, but we're all going together in a few weeks, and it's a great way just to raise a glass to Ian, to thank him for all the hard work that he's done in the sector. This is thoroughly deserved, and it's not an easy process to go through. I've been asked in the past to give statements in secret to support potential candidates for this, and it's an exhaustive process, and you really have to be deserving of it to get one of these King's Honours, and he certainly deserves it. Just a bit more to add to your story on there. So Ken Knight, who's the former Chief Fire and Rescue Advisor for England, commented on this. He said, Ian's work has been a real and lasting impact on the fire safety sector. His efforts have improved industry standards and helped countless people across the country and beyond. Now, Ian has also commented on this honour. He said, I'm absolutely delighted and so proud to have been awarded the OBE. I would like to pay tribute to all of those at the FIA who have elevated my position through their professionalism and enthusiasm for public safety. This honour is also reflective of our board of directors and everyone involved in FIA councils and working groups who contribute so much of their time on a voluntary basis. Please share this award with me and be appreciative that the government has recognised the work that we do. So yeah, huge congratulations to Ian. I told him in person, and I will do again when I see him in a couple of weeks. But yeah, it raises awareness on everything the FIA have done, not just what he's done. And it's lovely to see this. Now, to finish off on the news section on this, talking about raising awareness and raising standards, it would be remiss of me not to remind you something the FIA actually supports, which is the Fire and Security Matters Awards. You have got until the 31st of March to enter these for free. It is the perfect way to get recognition for yourself, a team member, a team you're part of, your organisation, a product, a campaign, a fire safety consultancy, a fire safety training business, so much that we can cover here. Customer service as well. There's a multitude of categories, from innovation of the year to project of the year to fire safety manager of the year, fire safety team, fire safety woman, fire safety consultancy. This is just the fire categories. ESG company of the year, distributor of the year, training provider of the year, customer service award, campaign of the year, and commercial person of the year. And there's obviously security categories exactly the same, but for security too. This is now the sector's biggest awards due annually, and we're expecting 1,000 people to be there this year on the 5th of June at the Coventry Building Society Arena when it takes place, which takes place in the evening after the Fire Safety Matters Live conference. So it is a must enter. It costs you nothing to enter. You can start your entry now, Brian, and you can finish it or update it or edit it anytime between now and the 31st of March. And if you get shortlisted, and then it's great PR for you. It's great recognition for you or a member of your team or your organisation, because what you do, all of you, deserves to be recognised. You know, we had a record amount of entries last year, which was incredible, and we're very much hoping to massively beat that this year. And of course, if you get shortlisted, you have an opportunity to come to a fantastic evening, which this year is hosted by Omid Djalili. He's a very well-known comedian from, TV panel shows. He's also been in James Bond films and Indiana Jones and The Mummy and just about everything else. So he's an Iranian comic. He's very, very funny. I've heard him live a couple of times. And it's a great evening of networking, Brian. But that's for down the line if you get shortlisted. But actually, taking 20 minutes to half an hour to fill in 4 questions about why yourself, a product, your organisation, your team, etc., deserve recognition is well worth doing. Because I can tell you, when I shortlist in other sectors where I'm a judge, I hear the feedback from how much it means to people. I know from within my own team, when we have got nominated for awards, how much it's meant to us and to our staff. So, it is... it's absolutely something I would urge all of you to do. Completely free to do so. And it's on the website firesecurityawards.com, or just throw into a search engine Fire and Security Matters Awards. I know it's an evening that you very much look forward to, Brian, because you do the opening address on there for us as well. So only 2 months left to enter, but I would certainly say well worth doing.
Yes, I'm very much looking forward to the awards, Mark. As you said, it's a nice chance for us to be in front of the industry and the industry to engage with us. Plenty of guests this year. We're moving to a new room, which I think you mentioned this year, to accommodate even more guests and more entries, hopefully, for the categories. It's always a great event. I mean, we love ourselves here at Western Business Media on excellence and professionalism in the sector. That's what it's all about, Mark, really. Driving CPD, driving best practice across the sector, both sectors, security and fire, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
So very much looking forward to tonight, yes.
Yeah, looking forward to it too. A lot of work going on behind the scenes on it. God, this year's awards, not only we've got fire breathers, we've got stilt walkers, we've got fairground dodgems, casino tables, photo booth, picky mix, you name it, for entertainment. It is one not to miss. And it comes after a full day of education where Fire Safety Matters Live and Security Matters Live conferences are running at the same time as Institute of Fire Safety Managers will be doing their own conference in the daytime as well. We've got the Association of Security Consultants doing something, SSAIB having approved companies meeting as well for installers. It's and IFPO as well on the security side. It is a true industry day. All the main associations are there. So we will be sharing more information on the next podcast about how you can come in the daytime for free. But in the meantime, please do enter the award. Just throw into a search engine, Fire and Security Matters, and up we come. Or if you want the website address one more time, it is free to enter at firesecurityawards.com. So that's it for the news. And obviously you can listen to us and see the latest news on the podcast, but you don't have to wait for the podcast. You can go onto our website at any time and see all the latest news, prosecutions, products and services, and case studies at fsmatters.com. You can see on the webinars tab all of our upcoming webinars. You can sign up to get copies of the magazine for free, or you can join our weekly e-newsletter for free to get all the latest news directly into your inbox. So, Brian, we finish with one final guest. And who have you got for us?
Our final guest on episode 41 is Mandy Bowden, Fire Systems Manager at Comelit-PAC, the leading provider of fire safety and security solutions. Previously, Mandy has worked at several companies, including Ativo Technology UK, Nitan Europe, Secure Fast, and also Allbridge Security. Harbouring over 20 years of experience in the fire safety industry, Mandy has developed a strong expertise in designing, installing and maintaining fire protection systems that meet the very highest standards and current regulations. In her present role, Mandy leads a team of business development managers and technicians who deliver high-quality fire safety solutions for a diverse range of clients right across the UK, while in parallel managing key accounts and generating new business opportunities by building long-term relationships with customers, partners and stakeholders alike. On this occasion, Mandy concentrates on several topics including wireless fire safety systems, the necessity for staff training, and also the influence of new government legislation on the sector. Welcome to the podcast, Mandy. Fire safety is a major concern for many building owners and managers, and rightly so. Why is it so important to integrate fire protection measures during the design and specification stages of any new build or refurbishment project, do you think?
Thank you for inviting me, Brian. Good question. Integrating fire protection during the design and specification stages is crucial to ensuring safety. This proactive approach allows for addressing potential fire risks early, mitigating the need for costly retrofits and ensuring compliance with regulations. Effective design coordination ensures the correct systems are implemented efficiently, minimising disruptions and optimising safety. The collaboration between architects, developers and fire safety experts allows for a seamless cooperation of fire detection and alarm systems, ensuring comprehensive strategy to prevent property damage, injury or loss of life.
And in what ways can effective partnerships between building owners, responsible persons and also fire safety experts make a meaningful contribution towards compliance and safety?
Effective partnerships are key to ensuring compliance and safety. Building owners, responsible persons and fire safety experts must work together to assess risks and install fire detection alarm systems tailored to the specific needs of the building. Open communication helps in identifying risks and ensuring that installations are compliant with fire safety strategies and regulations. This collaboration extends through all stages of a project from design to commissioning, ensuring the fire protection systems are functional and well maintained.
What are the main benefits arising from wireless fire safety systems, and notably so in retrofit projects where wired solutions may not be practical?
Great question, especially since the increase in wireless fire detection is still on the rise. Wireless fire detection systems offer several benefits, particularly in retrofit projects where wired solutions may be impractical. These systems, such as the Logifier, are easy to install, flexible in configuration and highly reliable. They offer minimal disruption to existing structures, making them ideal for older or complex buildings. Their adaptability also makes them suitable for both commercial and residential applications, providing a seamless integration into fire protection systems.
Can you talk us through the benefits of cloud integration in terms of fire safety systems and also how this enhances safety and monitoring capabilities?
Cloud integration enhances fire safety systems by enabling real-time monitoring, remote access and timely notifications. It allows for instant alerts to be sent via email or SMS, ensuring that the responsible persons are always informed of system status and any fire-related incidents. Cloud technology also facilitates easier maintenance, as issues can be diagnosed and addressed remotely. Overall, this integration improves both safety and operational efficiency.
Smart fire safety management systems are becoming more advanced with features like AI integration, for example. What are the current benefits to be derived here, Mandy, and what guidance is needed to ensure safe and ethical usage going forward?
Smart fire safety management systems offer early detection, real-time monitoring and remote access to fire safety data. Advanced sensors detect incidents at an early stage, improving response times and limiting damage. AI integration further enhances detection accuracy. Advanced sensors detect incidents at an early stage, improving response times and limiting damage, though guidance is essential to ensure ethical use and reliability. Clear standards are needed to ensure that AI-driven systems function correctly and safely, maintaining public trust and adherence to regulations.
In times ahead, Mandy, how will legislation influence fire protection practices? And following on from that, how are businesses like Comelit-PAC preparing to support compliance with that legislation?
New legislation, such as the Building Safety Act 2022, places greater emphasis on stricter enforcement of fire safety regulations. Companies like Comelit-PAC are preparing by integrating advanced technologies like cloud-based monitoring and smart fire detection systems, which comply with evolving safety standards. By offering comprehensive training and technical support, they ensure that their systems meet current and future legislation requirements.
Routine maintenance and staff training are essential components of fire safety, of course. What best practices would you recommend for ensuring that fire protection systems remain operational and also that members of staff are adequately prepared should an emergency arise?
Routine maintenance and regular testing of fire protection systems, such as checking fire alarms, fire doors and extinguishers, are critical for ensuring operational readiness. Staff training programmes should be conducted to familiarise everyone with fire safety procedures, including evacuation routes and extinguisher use. Regular fire drills and updating risk assessments are key to maintaining preparedness.
And finally, Mandy, how might a comprehensive risk assessment and tailored fire safety strategy assist in addressing the unique challenges posed in today's built environment, and in what ways does Comelit-PAC support this process?
A comprehensive risk assessment identifies unique challenges and specific fire hazards in a building, allowing for a tailored fire safety strategy. Comelit-PAC supports this by working closely with building owners and fire safety experts to design and install fire safety systems that fit the building's requirements. Their solutions, like the Logifire system, are customised and include ongoing technical support to ensure compliance and operational efficiency.
That brings us to the end of episode 41 of the Fire Safety Matters podcast. Many thanks indeed to our special guests on this edition, namely Mark Whiteley from asecos, Tony Smith of Vox Ignis, and also Mandy Bowden from Comelit-PAC. You can read more on the issues raised in this edition of the podcast and others by visiting the Fire Safety Matters website. The web address you need to access is www.fsmatters.com. We do hope you've enjoyed the content delivered in the podcast and found it informative. Please do contact us if there are any particular themes or issues you would like us to explore on upcoming editions. You can do so on X, formerly Twitter of course, by using the hashtag FSMPodcast. On that note, do make sure you follow us on X at FSMatters_MAG and also access our LinkedIn page at Fire Safety Matters magazine and website. Please do like and share the content of our regular podcasts and spread the word among your industry colleagues. You can listen to the Fire Safety Matters podcast for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube or Podbean. All you need to do is enter the term Fire Safety Matters into your chosen platform search box. We'll see you next time.